Hey, what's up everyone? It's Radeint here, and today I wanted to do a little video talking about some Pauper cards, specifically cards that deal with artifacts and enchantments. Sometimes you might run into a meta where you're dealing with a lot of artifacts and enchantments. I know sometimes I've had a few weeks or a week or two where it seems like a lot of the decks I play have artifacts and enchantments, and so these are some of the cards that I find to be the best at dealing with those types of metas. And then looking at the colors, it's going to be red, green, and white are primarily the colors that deal with artifacts. Blue and black, for blue you just got to use counter spells and stuff like that. And in black they do have some tricky cards that you can like put down the card, like pay to put it down, and then if you tap it and pay something you can deal with the artifact, or you got to sacrifice a creature. But in this video, we're just going to be talking about the primary colors, white and green, with a little bit of the red. Since these cards deal directly with artifacts and enchantments, they are spells that we can get rid of them, get them off the board. These will be cards that are great for the sideboard and can also go into the main deck if you are facing a meta for a couple weeks. You might just want to throw it in the main deck so you don't have to wait till this game 2. So looking at white, I think the best one drop is going to be Fragmentize. We can destroy target artifact or enchantment with converted mana cost 4 or less. Now, in Pauper, the format, the top tier decks, they're not really running any artifacts that are over 4. So this card is going to be really good. It's going to deal with most of the artifacts that we need to deal with. Now, there's going to be a couple that are obviously over 4 that might be a problem for us, but we'll have to find other ways to deal with those if you want to run a card with this cheap cost. In green, we have the same thing with Natural State, destroy target artifact or enchantment, but this time it's 3 or less. So in green we get hindered a little bit more, but 3 can take care of most of the artifacts in the format that we need to deal with. And then in red we have a 1 mana card that can destroy a target artifact. We don't get the option for enchantment in red, so we just got to take what we can get and deal with artifacts. You don't see too many enchantments in the format, but some decks, you know, there's the enchantment deck that runs a lot of enchantment auras, like kind of Voltron-y, that you might want to deal with. Some of those there's enchantments that kind of bleed you down that you need to deal with. If you're in red, hopefully you can just go faster, you can be more aggro and just beat them down faster. So those are going to be the best cards for the 1-drops. Now in white there's a couple other 1-drops that we can deal with, just enchantments. We can destroy target enchantment with Demystify, 1 mana, and also Quiet Purity can also destroy a target enchantment. So you can run these cards if you're facing a lot of enchantments, but I would stick to Fragmentize if you're just hitting a lot of artifacts and sometime enchantments. That's just the best bet for 1 mana. Also in green you can run Crumble. It destroys target artifact, or artifact creatures that get destroyed may not be regenerated. So this is pretty good, a pretty good card for 1 drop, but its controller gains life equal to the artifact's casting cost. So there's a small price to pay of giving them life, but if it's an artifact that's crushing you, you got to get rid of it. You can take the life later, you know. And then also Nature's Claim is another 1-drop in green. We have the choice to destroy artifact or enchantment, so we can destroy the whole artifact or the whole enchantment. There's no mana restriction, but we have to pay the small price of giving them 4 life afterwards. Again, if the artifact is deadly enough, if you're seeing some new artifact in the format and you got to get rid of it, this card can get rid of it, and then you just give them the 4 life and we'll just take it back later if the deck can do that. And hopefully it can, or you're not going to win, right? So looking at 2-drops now. Now in 2-drops we get a little bit more for our money. Disenchant for 2 mana can destroy target artifact or enchantment. And what I found is it costs about 1 mana to get rid of either an artifact or an enchantment. So for 2 mana, we have the choice to get rid of a whole artifact or a whole enchantment. As you saw in the last couple cards, in green and white, we're paying 1 mana to get rid of kind of some of the artifacts. We can't hit the whole range of casting costs there. So we're able to pay 1 mana and have the choice of 2, but we're not able to hit every artifact. We can only hit the ones that are under that mana restriction. So paying the extra mana, we have the ability to get rid of a whole artifact or a whole enchantment and have the choice of both. So I think disenchant will be the best bet if you're looking to cover the whole range of either artifacts or enchantments in white. Green has a similar card, Naturalize. We can do the same thing, destroy an artifact or an enchantment. But red doesn't have anything to get in 2 mana that can either get rid of both. So I didn't have a card for that, but also there is a card in green and white that Sundering Growth, destroy target artifact or enchantment. We can pay white or green or both or a combination of both. And we also get the added value to populate. So if you're running a token deck, you can populate a token if you want and make an extra token. So that card's really good. I've run that a lot in my green-white token decks, or even just a white token deck. That card's really good. So those are going to be your probably best 2-drops in white and green for dealing with both an artifact and an enchantment. Now there's cards that are 2 mana that deal with just destroy target artifact or destroy target enchantment, but why limit yourself to just one when you can pay 2 and have the choice of either or? I like having the choice because you never know what the opponent's going to bring to the table. Now looking at red, red has some 2-drops that are unique as well because they give you some extra value. So Fury Charm here is an instance. You can choose one. You can destroy an artifact, so you can pay to destroy an artifact, or you can give a target creature +1/+1 and it gains trample until end of turn. So for that extra mana, like with Smelt, we are paying 1 mana to destroy an artifact. Here we're paying an extra mana to have the choice in our deck to be able to do something else. We can also remove 2 time counters from target permanent or suspended cards. So when they suspend that card, or they got that card that's counting up and at 3 counters it's gonna hit, you can remove 2 time counters from that card. So that's a pretty neat little trick that you can add into your deck. Another card for 2 mana is Smash to Smithereens. So again, we get to destroy that artifact, but we can also have the extra value of dealing 3 damage to that artifact's controller. So that's pretty good, especially in a burn deck. If you're running a burn deck and you're dealing with a lot of artifacts, you just destroy those artifacts and you burn them a little bit to help that aggro and help beat them down a little faster. And then if you're in red and green, a great card is Hull Breach. So we pay 2 mana, red and a green, and we get to choose one. So we have a couple choices here. We can destroy target artifact or destroy an enchantment. So that's great. We get either or. Or if they have an artifact and an enchantment out, we can go ahead and pick that option and destroy both of them. So we get both. We get the full value of the 2 mana and destroy 2 different items. So those are some good cards for if you're in red or red and green. So looking at some extra cards in green, Dissenter's Deliverance is another 2 mana card. You can destroy just an artifact, but it gives you the ability to cycle this card out. This card's been pretty good for me lately, just giving me that option to cycle it because I've been putting it in my main board as I've seen a lot of artifacts in probably the past couple months. Lately it's been a lot of blue-red decks, blue-red decks. But I was seeing a lot of artifacts, and so in my green or green-white decks or green-blue decks, I was running this card because it gives me the ability to deal with those artifacts, as well as you can just pay 1 and cycle it if there are no artifacts and draw a card. So that's really nice. Another card in green for 2 mana, you can destroy target artifact or enchantment with Gleeful Sabotage. What's great about this card though is that extra ability, Conspire. So if you're running a creature heavy deck, you can Conspire this card, and so as you cast a spell, you can tap 2 of those untapped creatures that you have, say like elves or something, and then you can also copy this card and choose new targets for it. So you get to do it twice if you tap 2 guys. So for that extra cost, it adds a little bit more value. So those are the best cards, I think. Again, Fragmentize and Naturalize are really good 1-drops. Just throw those in the sideboard. And then those 2-drops are really good if you just need to have something solid to deal with anything that comes at you. So hopefully you enjoyed this information. I thought it would be pretty helpful for some people out there. I think these are some of the best cards to deal with these artifacts and stop artifacts or enchantments from preventing you from winning the game. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.